Okay, this is chapter 5.1, and remember back in chapter 1, I had actually told you that the place value chart was a big fat hairy deal and that things were going to change. Well, we're at that point right now. So, for this place value chart for chapter 5.1, I want you to notice, okay, everything to the left of this line is the same as before, and they've made it look different, but it's still the same idea. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, etc. Now, where this bolded line is, they put a decimal place. Okay? From that decimal place on, it's tenths, hundredths, thousandths, etc. Notice it has THS, and also notice it goes from ones to tenths. So there is no oneths place. So if you put that, you're wrong. Alright? Now, getting back to here, a decimal, just like with a fraction, is part of a whole. So if we write these decimals in words, this is, well, there's the decimal, and here's a 7. The 7 is in tenths place. So for A, you would say 7 tenths. And that would be it. Now for B, obviously you would say negative 50. Now where the decimal is, you would put and. Now the 8 is in tenths place, the 2 is in hundredths place. So this is 82 hundredths. So 82 dash 2 hundredths. Alright, number next. 21 and, so 20, and remember if we have a tenths and a ones type placing, you have to put a hyphen between them. So 21, and then we have a decimal, and then tenths, hundredths, thousandths. We always have to end with where that last decimal place goes. Now, so 90 dash 3 thousandths. Now, for the golden Jubilee diamond, it is 545.67 carats. That is one huge gem. I can tell you that. So we say 500, and I'm going to go ahead and shortcut that one, 45. Notice I do not put an and there. 40-5. Only where the decimal place goes do you put and. Then tenths, hundredths. So 60-7 hundredths. Never a shortcut when it's in the decimal placing. Alright, on page 325, I want to talk about examples 5 and 6. Notice 48 and 26 hundredths. Hundredths has 2 decimal places. So we write 48 and then decimal for and. 26 hundredths means 2 decimal places. Then for 6 and 95 thousandths, you put the 6 and then a decimal place. 95 thousandths has 3 decimal places, so what I would do is write out 3 little dashes and put the 95 at the end. And then any open spaces, put zeros in them. Okay? Now, when writing decimals as fractions, I'm going to use part A here. 0.31. We know that this is tenths, hundredths. Okay? So what we do is we write the 31 without a decimal place, put a fraction bar, we put a 1, and then because there are 2 decimal places, we put 2 zeros. Or think of it this way, 1 is in the hundredths place, so you put 31 over 100. And then the unspoken rule of fractions, if you can reduce it, you have to reduce it. Then there's a second key. The whole number stays the whole number. By the way, 31 over 100 does not reduce. 31 is prime and does not go into 100. Now, for part B, we put the 47 over, and we've got 2 decimal places, so we put it over 100. By the way, 47 is also prime, and it won't go into 100. Now, part C, 51, but it has 1, 2, 3 decimal places, so we have to have 3 zeros on the bottom. And 51 does not go into 1,000. And 51 will break down into 3 times 17. 3 doesn't go into 1,000, and 17 doesn't go into 1,000. So this doesn't reduce. Now, the whole number stays the whole number. So I have to leave that 5 as a big number. Then the 6 I put as a fraction, and the 6 goes over 10. Now, because 1 decimal place, 1 zero. 6 over 10, unspoken rule of fractions, reduce if you can. And I know that I can divide top and bottom both by 2. So that gives us 5 and 3/5. Notice I did not write, and come up here, I did not write 5 and 6/10, because that can be misread as 56 over 10, and then you would get your answer wrong. So you have to make sure you write your whole number big enough that nobody can think it's in the numerator. Okay? Now, number last on this one. If your problem is negative, put the negative in your answer. So, negative 29, and then 95 over, if you said 100, you were right. Now I can divide both of these by 5. So that gives us negative 29, and then 19 over 20. If you have any questions, just ask. By the way, I have to apologize for my voice. I had surgery in June, and my voice isn't quite back right yet. So I hope you can deal with it. Try, please. Okay, compare these. When you're comparing decimal numbers, what you need to do is write them over top of each other. Okay? 2, 5, 3, 0. There we go. When you're comparing, you start from left to right. The 2's are the same, the 8's are the same, the 2's are the same, the 5's are the same, the 3's are the same. So if I compare this and this, these are equal. Well, what about, and this is a nasty one, negative 1.224 and negative 1.22301. Just because this number has more digits doesn't mean that it's bigger, okay? Not necessarily. These are the same, these are the same, these are the same. Now, notice this. Which one is smaller, because these are negative, okay? If you're looking at a number line, okay, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, okay? A negative 2 would be a smaller number because it's getting more negative. So in this case, this one is actually the bigger number because it's in the negative direction. So we would do this. But just because it has more digits doesn't make it bigger. Now 21.12321, 21.1233. Now with these, 2 are same, 1 same, 1 same, 2 same, 3 same. Oops. Aha. Now, as we go to the right, the bigger the number is, the bigger the digit is, the bigger the number is. So that makes this one bigger. And so you would do that. The same thing goes when you're doing these. So 0.378, 0.3779. Okay, these are the same, these are the same. This one's bigger. Now with B, 0.052, 0.052, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same, same, same. And even though there are no digits here, I could fill these in with zeros. And that makes both of these the same, even though one has more zeros on the end than the other one. If you don't understand that, please ask. Then 0.026.12. Not the same. That one's bigger. Okay? Now, when rounding, make sure you pay attention to these clues. Okay? When I have this number, 736, and 0.2359, and I need to round to tenths place, I underline, oops, that did not say tenths, did it? Sorry about that, it said tens. Okay, so my 3 is actually in my tens place. And remember, when rounding to the left of the decimal, you write your 7, you look at the 3, you underline the 3, and you look at your 6. Is that 5 or higher? It is higher. So really, we mark all of that out and add 1 to the 3. So that makes it 40. So 736 point stuff is really closer to 740 than it is closer to 730. So rounding this one, we drop everything from this number on to the right. Now when rounding to tenths place, we underline the tenths place and we look to the right of that. This is not 5 or higher, so we just completely drop it. So this is 736.2. Now when rounding to thousandths, 736.2359. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Is that next number to the right, is it 5 or higher? Yes, so we mark it off and we add 1 to the 5. So 736.2. 236. Okay? When you're looking at checks, make sure the only place you put a decimal is, or put an and, is where the decimal goes. And another place where we use rounding is with pi, because pi has over 1 billion decimal places, so for us to realistically use it, we have to round it to, and we usually round it to approximately 3.14. Okay, rounding we use with money, because if something is smaller than 1 cent, we have to round it to only 1 cent, or to the nearest cent. We also use estimating or rounding when we're shopping, and also when we're calculating our income taxes, because they ask you to the nearest dollar, how much did you make that year? I hope I made sense. And like I said in chapter 4, chapters 5 and 6 are going to be a whole lot easier. And I hope you do find it easier.